As we here in the Alvernia community enter into our second week of remote learning and working, we are beginning to establish new rhythms. For those of you who have families at home, you find yourselves working alongside your spouse or partner, and perhaps you have even been thrust into the world of homeschooling your children. If you are in this situation, you may be longing for a little alone time right about now. For those of us who live alone, we may find the house a little too quiet, longing to chat with our coworkers and our friends. After only a few days in this context, loneliness can set in quickly. In both of these situations, perhaps we are being called to embrace a spirit of solitude. Let us remember that St. Francis himself was no stranger to solitude. He often made time to go off to a secluded place to pray. One of his favorite places was a retreat located on Mount Subasio called the Carcery. Early on in his conversion experience, Francis would go to the Carcery to pray. He wanted to discern who God was calling him to be. Was Francis called to live a life of seclusion and prayer, or was he called to live a life of active ministry? In the end, Francis discerned that it was both a balance of solitude and ministry that he was called to. Prior to COVID-19, I know my life was encumbered by busyness. I experienced solitude in rare moments, but I can honestly say it was not a frequent prayer practice for me. As we continue this time of social distancing and quarantine, it is an opportune moment to practice solitude. So I invite you, whether your remote work is filled with new coworkers or you are an office of one, to build regular time in for prayer and contemplation. Recognize where God is working in your life and in the world. Respond to the voice of God calling you to set a new rhythm, to take care of yourself and your loved ones far and near, and to embrace this present moment for what it is. Perhaps, if we can begin a rhythm of solitude in our lives today, it is a practice we can continue to use in the future, because we live in hope for a time when we can go back to work and go back to school and our daily lives without fear. So I invite you to make moments of solitude in your new daily rhythms. Peace and all good, and know that you are in our prayers.